We've probably all heard the assertion that all people are basically the same in terms of how we prioritize things. We're all sort of doing our best. We just are doing it in different ways because we understand the world differently. But essentially, we're all on the same page, on the same team. When you hear that assertion, you probably sense that that isn't quite so. We're certain that some people are doing things radically different than we are. In fact, quite the opposite in many cases. Psalm 37, our Psalm of the Week, takes on a theme that is as old as the third chapter of Genesis. There are two distinct ways to live. The psalmist says that the wicked, whom he identifies throughout the psalm, are known by such traits as anger, verse 8, whereas the righteous are known by wise speech, verse 30 says. The wicked plot harm against others, verse 12. The righteous prefer peace, verse 37. The wicked are violent, verse 14. The righteous honor judgment, verse 30. The wicked steal, verse 21. The righteous are generous, verse 21 as well. So not everyone is doing the same thing. And Psalm 37 also confirms that these two ways of life are in conflict with one another. Verse 32 puts it this way: the wicked watches out for the righteous and seeks to put him to death. In Genesis 3, God had promised that this is exactly what would happen, verse 15. And it did happen almost immediately. The Bible tells us that Cain killed his brother, and John, in 1 John chapter 3, verse 12, says he did so because his own deeds were evil and his brother's righteous. So John is using those two titles for the two types of people that are found in this world. Now, in his kindness, God has a special word in Psalm 37 for both types of people, the righteous and the wicked. To the righteous, God says this: don't worry. Don't worry, though you feel under attack from the wicked, as verse 32 says, don't worry. God always protects his children. You will face trouble, but God will be your stronghold. That's the language used in verse 39. And God will certainly judge the wicked, verse 38. So don't imagine that injustice is always going to be permitted. And to the wicked, God says this, among other things, in verse 27, turn away from evil and do good, so shall you dwell forever. You see, people only perish because they don't want a friendship with God. God certainly doesn't desire enemies and people to be hostile toward him and others. God says, turn from your wickedness. Seek help from me. Pray for a new heart, a new life, a new way of going about things. So God doesn't want people to be wicked. He says turn. And yet, as the psalm teaches us, he uses the wickedness of people to train his children to trust him. So this psalm is a testimony to two different ways of life, and also, of course, a call to turn from an evil way of living to a righteous way of living. But it's also a testimony to Jesus' sacrifice, because God was willing to surprise us based on the terms given in Psalm 37 with how he would treat his son for the sake of the wicked, whom he calls to turn to him. So God promised David in this psalm that he would not let the righteous be condemned when he is brought to trial, verse 33. That sounds right, doesn't it? That the righteous should not be condemned, and that it is the wicked who will be cut off, verse 34. That also sounds right to us. But that isn't what happened with Jesus Christ. God so loved the world that he was willing to condemn and cut off his Son so that everyone who believed in him would be spared the destruction that we deserve. Let's take a listen now to Psalm 37, a psalm of David. Fret not yourself because of evildoers. Be not envious of wrongdoers, for they will soon fade like the grass and wither like the green herb. Trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and befriend faithfulness. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in him, and he will act. He will bring forth your righteousness as the light, and your justice as the noonday. Be still before the Lord, and wait patiently for him. Fret not yourself over the one who prospers in his way, over the man who carries out evil devices. Refrain from anger, forsake wrath. Fret not yourself, it tends only to evil. For the evildoer shall be cut off, but those who wait for the Lord shall inherit the land. In just a little while, the wicked will be no more. Though you look carefully at his place, he will not be there. But the meek shall inherit the land and delight themselves in abundant peace. The wicked plots against the righteous and gnashes his teeth at him, but the Lord laughs at the wicked, for he sees that his day is coming. The wicked draw the sword and bend their bows to bring down the poor and needy, to slay those whose way is upright. Their sword shall enter their own heart, and their bows shall be broken. Better is the little that the righteous has than the abundance of many wicked. For the arms of the wicked shall be broken, but the Lord upholds the righteous. The Lord knows the day of the blameless, and their heritage will remain forever. They are not put to shame in evil times. In the days of famine, they have abundance. But the wicked will perish. The enemies of the Lord are like the glory of the pastures. They vanish like smoke. They vanish away. The wicked borrows, but does not pay back. But the righteous is generous and gives. For those blessed by the Lord shall inherit the land, but those cursed by him shall be cut off. The steps of a man are established by the Lord when he delights in his way. Though he fall, he shall not be cast headlong, for the Lord upholds his hand. I have been young, and now am old. Yet I have never seen the righteous forsaken, or his children begging for bread. He is ever lending generously, and his children become a blessing. Turn away from evil and do good, so shall you dwell forever. For the Lord loves justice. He will not forsake his saints. They are preserved forever. But the children of the wicked shall be cut off. The righteous shall inherit the land and dwell upon it forever. The mouth of the righteous utters wisdom, and his tongue speaks justice. The law of his God is in his heart. His steps do not slip. The wicked watches for the righteous and seeks to put him to death. The Lord will not abandon him to his power or let him be condemned when he is brought to trial. Wait for the Lord and keep his way, and he will exalt you to inherit the land. You will look on when the wicked are cut off. I've seen a wicked, ruthless man spreading himself like a green laurel tree, but he passed away. And behold, he was no more. Though I sought him, he could not be found. Mark the blameless, and behold the upright, for there is a future for the man of peace. But transgressors shall be altogether destroyed. The future of the wicked shall be cut off. The salvation of the righteous is from the Lord. He is their stronghold in times of trouble. The Lord helps them and delivers them. He delivers them from the wicked and saves them because they take refuge in him. Amen.